Well, hello there, everybody, and welcome to the Political Machine 2024. For those of you that have been following Political Machine style games in the past, this is the newest iteration. Very, very cool. Also interesting that you could play as independents. Now, I am currently playing a press copy, and the game, as I'm playing it right now, has not yet been released, so we don't get the chance to check out the independents. But I wanted to go ahead and show you what I find a lot better about this particular political machine than other political machine games. No, number one, you can have a primary. What is a primary? So we're just going to jump in really quickly so I can show you. You could select either Democrat or Republican, and I do believe there will be an independent category once the game is released. At that point, you select your difficulty, and I've got to say, like, with how much I played the game, I think tough is really more normal, and normal is really more easy, if that makes sense. But for instance, let's say I was to go with the Republican primary. I could select Donald Trump, Doug Burgum, Mike Pence, whoever I want. Let's take Donald Trump as an example, right? You can also create your very own candidate. And we're going to go forward, and then you can select three other Republican candidates, and you need to go ahead and win the primary. I really love this option because it's not available in any of the other political machine games, and I think it's an integral part of American politics, and really allows you to focus on the party politics as opposed to the grand general election. But today we're not going to do that. We're going for the presidential election. I should mention that the game does have an AI version where you could just kind of like watch a presidential election take place, and it's surprisingly pretty fun. Now we're going to go with who everybody loves to hate, Mr. Joe Biden. Some call him Sleepy Joe. However you feel about him, again, I don't care about which candidate wins in the grand scheme of things. At the end of the day, I'm still pretty screwed. We will face Donald Trump. Another thing I really like about this is each character has something called a political deck. You basically draw cards every single turn, and you can use your political capital points to play those cards. Some of them can be extremely valuable. In previous political machine games, there was a system of endorsements, and those endorsements to me kind of ruined the game because all you really had to do was essentially just pick up a bunch of endorsements with political capital, and you would win no matter what. So we're going to go ahead. We don't need that tutorial. We've played more than enough. Of course, we start off, my friends, and we already have a few cards in our hand, as you can see here. All of the states have their initial sort of starting political leanings, the Rust Belt being very independent, the Northeast being very democratic, as well as the West, and of course, the central U.S. and the southern U.S. being quite Republican. But this is where the game begins. We have to decide how we're going to win this election. There's a number of different ways to do it. One thing we should definitely do is construct an HQ in a state which we believe is going to bring us some money, or where we can raise the enthusiasm. So what I'm doing right here, really the only reason I'm constructing that HQ in New York, is I want to be able to come back here and raise funds, which you can imagine is a huge part of the game. Now, another big part of the game is the advertisements, but of course, advertisements cost money, $420,000 in this case, not to mention 3 stamina, but it's going to greatly improve my appeal amongst independents and Democrats. So I'm going to make an ad that I want to expand Medicare and Medicaid. And you can see here with the Republican voters, it's not a popular stance. That being said, we're going to go ahead. We're dropping our ad. Now, it's going to take some time for that ad to take place. And by the way, for those of you that like to make Sleepy Joe comments, one of Joe Biden's negative elements, as you can see here, his stamina is terrible. So he doesn't get to go to a lot of states and do much. What I'm going to do is go straight to Michigan. I'm trying to grab this Rust Belt area, my friends. That's what I think is going to be the most important. Grabbing the Rust Belt. We might try to go for Florida, but we can see that Donald Trump has already built an HQ there in his Mar-a-Lago estate. It's going to be tough to get through. Now, as you can see over here as well, guys, we can change the actual viewing mode. So the one we're sticking with is state polling, but you can go, for instance, state votes just to see which states have the most electoral votes. For those of you that are not Americans, essentially, depending on the population of a set state or the landmass of a set state, it's going to have a larger amount of electoral votes overall. But again, I said we were going to Michigan, but actually ended up jumping over into Illinois. It was not intentional. So I might actually go ahead here in Illinois, and we are going to say we want to expand drug abuse services. And once again, this is going to increase our issue stance. We can even make an advertisement saying that Donald Trump does not want to improve drug abuse services. So we're going to say he opposes them. Again, you can make attack ads against the person you're running against, in this case, Donald Trump. And I'm going to build a campaign HQ right here. Now, we need to watch that the finances here, the funds. We need to make sure that we are raising sufficient money. But currently, we are going to end the turn here. Going to try to move to Michigan as soon as possible and begin campaigning there. Trump is going through the Southeast, and he is conquering states. Now, when that little question mark pops up, there's a possibility that we get something either good or bad out of this. Let's see. A message from a mysterious photographer. I'll keep this short. I have a somewhat unflattering photo of you. It's not incriminating or explicit, but it is embarrassing. For 20K, I could ensure that photo never makes it from my camera. Wow. It's 20K. We're going to pay for it. So that's it. And as you can see, the photo did not circulate, but when you saw the states rise there, certain decisions that you make will have tremendous effects over and around the states. Let's get to the people right in their face. We're going to give a speech here as Joe Biden addressing inflation. And it's one way, one method of attaining votes, of course. We're also going to go ahead and make an advertisement that we will address inflation here in Michigan. But talking to the people can really get them on your side as opposed to just making advertisements. And it doesn't cost any money. It simply costs stamina. All right, guys, once again, there we go. Michigan turning blue. That's what we like to see. But we need to go to a state that has money. You see what I did there? Let's go over to California immediately. And as you can see, Trump just played a subtweet card. He just criticized me on social media, and that absolutely devastated my rankings across the United States. Now, over here, unity over division. This would prevent all candidates from playing effect cards. Really don't want that. But what I do want is the crooked prosecutor here. We're going to play that against Trump, and that's going to stop his stamina next turn, which is good because what we're doing right now is really raising funds. Now, again, not every state is going to have a tremendous amount of funds to raise. This happens to be California, which is huge. I'm also going to go ahead and say that I want to address homelessness here in an advertisement, and I'm going to criticize Trump for not wanting to address homelessness in another advertisement. So once again, we'll say he opposes it. And of course, being in California, we're probably going to get quite a bit of support here anyway. And the turn. And once again, I am going to fundraise. Fundraise, fundraise, fundraise. That's the important thing. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, when do I get to select my running mate? Give it time, give it time. The running mate will appear. We actually get to select them midway through the election. Nearby community at your latest stop has suffered a devastating loss of jobs. Okay, we're going to promise to bring the jobs back. That's what politics is about, guys. It's not about actually doing what you say you're going to do. Just promising it is good enough. Again, none of the issues here in Arizona are going to benefit us except for renewable energy. So I'm actually going to make an ad here that Trump opposes renewable energy. But we might kind of be doing his job for him in a way here, if that makes sense. This is sort of a Republican talking point, so it might benefit him, but it's going to give us additional votes with the independents and the Democrats. And there you go. Arizona voting Democrat? I don't think so. That's pretty crazy, but we just made it happen. Now, as you can see, Michigan is wavering. I don't like that. I also don't like that he has all power over Florida here, but I'm definitely going to focus on Michigan. So we're going to go ahead and play the Spin Doctor card, and this is going to increase our issues in this particular state. So we're going to make a speech on addressing inflation, and we're also going to create an ad saying that Trump opposes addressing inflation. He wants those corporations to run amok and borrow as much money as they want. And there we go. Again, ending that turn. We could go into North Carolina. May not be such a bad idea. Did I just call Virginia North Carolina? Shame on me. He's in North Carolina. Go into Virginia, and I think Virginia is quite an important state considering it hasn't really selected a candidate yet. I'm going to go ahead and give a speech on public school funding, and what I want to do is drop another ad here, but we're getting awful low on money. So I think we're going to head to New York, just in time to host the New York fundraiser. Not too shabby, boys and girls. Again, that Rust Belt, it is quite blue. I'm liking that. I'm not liking Florida remaining red, though. And we've put up no fight here. So I'm actually going to go ahead and build an HQ in Florida. That's how confident I am at taking back the state. Let's give a speech on addressing inflation. And as you can see, Joe is already too tired to do anything else this turn. It's tough playing as Joe Biden. It really is. It's quite a challenge. I'm not going to lie to you because of that stamina issue. So we can actually gain 10 stamina with this presidential scheduling thing, which is pretty awesome. We can also put a rally rouser here in Florida, which is going to increase our enthusiasm in the state. Unfortunately, we have a lack of funds. Fortunately, Florida has a decent amount of funds, but not really enough. So let's go ahead, we'll raise some more funds, and hopefully we can make it through the turn. But again, we can't play that card without the appropriate political points or stamina points. And right now our stamina is at 1. I'm not leaving Florida, boys and girls. I'm staying here, I think, one more turn. Biden got a major enthusiasm boost thanks to a rally thrown by their rabble rouser in Florida. Did I say that correctly? And as you can see, that's awesome. So that's going to benefit us hugely. Florida is now neutral, and this gives us a chance to go ahead and turn Florida blue. I think that would be huge. Unfortunately, we have a serious lack of funds. I'm going to say Trump opposes addressing inflation, and we're going to run away to California. Gonna have to wait a turn. That's not good. To try and get some additional funds. Now, if you lose funds, if you go negative, it actually has a negative effect. I think it's like minus 10% to your overall support. So we don't want that to happen at all. So there we go. We're just gonna slay California with fundraisers. End the turn. Sometimes that's what you got to do. You got to focus on the fundraisers and really try to get that popular support. Okay, some of these states in the Rust Belt are turning blue. I am not happy that Ohio is on Trump's side. That is not what we're looking for. We need to at least try to bring Pennsylvania over to our side. Let's do that. Let's do that. We're still raising funds in California here this turn. What I will do is I will create an ad saying that I'm going to bring green jobs to the United States. And that should improve, sort of improve my support overall here. And I'm actually going to go ahead and play the unity over division card in Florida. This would make it so that Trump can't play any cards here. I think that's going to be important, and we shall end the turn. Matter of fact, we should probably build an HQ in California. I'm shocked, but Trump has an HQ in the state currently. Then again, I think it's going to be even more useful over here in these Rust Belt states. Indiana doesn't have that many electoral votes, but it is in the Rust Belt. That being said, we still need funds. Now, once you get your vice presidential candidate, you do get an injection of funds from the VP. But for now, we are relying almost exclusively on those funds. So let's head to... You know what? We're going to head to Florida. We're going to continue the fight, and then we'll go to Ohio afterwards. It looks like Pennsylvania is trending in our direction anyway. That's quite helpful. All right, we're going to say Donald Trump opposes addressing inflation here in a major advertisement. Then I'm going to wrap that up with a nice HQ construction here in the state. And actually, we can build several different kinds of HQs. We can build a think tank. The think tank boosts issue score, which is definitely going to be useful to us. But each of these are kind of going to bring different bonuses. And I think we're going to have to go for the think tank here. I'm hoping we can afford it. And look at this. Gain support from Rhiannon Poussin's former senator and current pundit. Increase enthusiasm in all states by 2%. This is one of those power cards that really helps us, as you can see, turning those blue states even bluer. And let's end that turn. All right, guys, candidates. So, of course, there are a number of different Democratic candidates we can pick, or Republican candidates if you're on the Republican side. In this case, I'm going with my buddy Bernie Sanders. We've got to, right? But no, let's keep it real. Let's go with the election as it stands, and let's take Kamala Harris. And I have no shame in admitting that I absolutely hate this politician. Let's go for it and get started. Okay, so Kamala is with us over there in her home state of Ohio, not improving anything in that state, not surprising to say the least. Set a trap in target state, so when opponent visits, they lose all their stamina, and we're going to set the trap in Florida. That's simple. When Trump returns to Florida, he will lose all of his political stamina. Unfortunately, we need to go to California, and you know it, we need to raise funds. Kamala brought no funds whatsoever to the fight. None at all. Get to New York, and Florida will host the next national debate. And that's another cool thing about the political machine here, is there is a national debate. I mean, how cool is that? So we actually get to debate the issues with Trump. The questions are usually pretty generalized, like, do you support, tackling the current financial crisis, et cetera, et cetera. But some of them can be quite difficult to answer. Let's put it that way. So once again, we need to boost those funds, and New York is probably the best place to do that. The only other place I could think of would be Texas, but of course Texas is extraordinarily Republican. But we're going to go there and try and get some oil money in our pockets. It's going to be tough after that green jobs advertisement, but we'll try to make it through anyway. What I really want to do is get back to the Rust Belt, though. So there you go. Texas has plenty of money to give. But once again, none of these issues are really going to benefit us, except for maybe the expansion of Medicare. So I actually will create an ad in Texas. Not everybody's going to care about this ad, but the older generations might. People are reaching retirement age, so it might just force Trump to come back to the state. And it looks like Kamala is actually helping a little bit there in Ohio. I really need to win Ohio over, guys. I got to tell you that. So we're headed right there. We're going to throw the cheerleader. Actually, the cheer squad is going to go into Florida. Florida for us is the most important state. Ohio, I will go ahead and give a speech. And I'm going to give another speech saying that Donald Trump opposes inflation, and hopefully we can get something going on here in this state. When you see pink, that means that the states are currently being, of course, fought over, that they're battleground states with a lot of support from both sides. Oh boy, the news has begun propagating a story originating from Trump that is affecting your stance on automation. Okay, we haven't said a single thing on automation, but in any case. All right, guys, we are going to attend the national debate. Here we go. This can have a huge effect on the election. And of course, there's a basic moderator. If you want to advance the debate, you can just click this right here. Do you support the implementation of policies aimed at inflation to preserve purchasing power and stabilizing the economy? While controlling inflation is important, we must be wary of measures that could lead to economic stagnation or unemployment. See, this crowd didn't like that answer. So we are going to try and answer. And I would say we advocate for strong measures to curb inflation, ensuring the stability and strength of our economy. And there we go. That's quite a popular answer with the audience itself. And this is one way to, of course, increase your chances of a win. What is your stance on implementing policies for greater transparency in classroom curricula and teaching materials? I'm going to say transparency in education is important, but we must balance this with the autonomy of educators to develop effective curricula. And I would suspect this is not going to be a very popular answer, but I think it would be a truthful one. So there we go. And again, Trump also answered quite negatively there. So far, the debate is going heavily in our direction. What is your position on implementing individual tax cuts? I would say, while tax relief is appealing, we must consider the impact on public funding and services. And again, probably not a popular answer, but a truthful one. And there we go. He is going to probably answer positively here. Let's see. And sure enough, Trump was able to bring that a little more in his direction. You're the crowd favorite right now. Be careful how you answer this question might change that. What is your position on including gender and sex education in school curricula? Now, we have to go with the Democratic answer. I would say believe in it, but it should be age appropriate and respect parental preferences. This is not going to be so popular with the Democrats necessarily, but it's popular with the independents in general. So there we go. And same question. How is Trump going to answer? Get rid of all of them. Get them all out of school. Get them out of here. And once again, this sort of did not look great on Trump, and it looked better for us. Should we expand public healthcare services? Absolutely. Yes, 100%. And there we go. And that's it. I believe that's going to be the debate. Definitely in my favor, guys. You're going to see how this is going to pan out across all of the states. So here we go. It will, of course, give a little bit of enthusiasm in our direction. At least I'm hoping it will. At least I'm hoping it will. Again, we're running out of money in terms of our ads, but I want to make sure I put another ad up about inflation and about how Trump does not want to address it. And we're going to hold a fundraiser here in Ohio. I'm a little surprised. Ohio has a little more money than I thought it did. My bad to any subscribers from Ohio. But there we go. Once again, it's pink. It's battleground state. We need to change that, guys. We need to change that. Someone in your campaign has stolen valuable data. Turns out they were on the payroll for Trump. That's quite serious. A recent expose revealed an extensive militia movement closely tied to a professed nationalism. I know they meant nationalist. While not immediately seen as a threat, the nature of the movement is still obscure and questionable enough to cause many to wonder if the basis of their movement is valid. Okay, interesting. Unfortunately, Florida is hard red now. That's not good for us, friends. What we're going to do, we're going to head right to Texas because they got that delicious oil money. And I think that's why we got the red in Florida. The enthusiasm decreased there by Trump. We're going to try to raise as much money as we can in Texas. I mean, we wanted a challenge, and we definitely got one. Let me tell you that. I actually think it might be easier to turn Texas than it is to turn Florida at the moment. Nonetheless, I'm not giving up. As you can see, Trump just gained an endorsement there. Endorsements are huge. Got to go to Florida and do something about this, folks. We're going to talk about addressing inflation. We're going to do everything we can here. We're going to make an ad about disaster preparedness. We're going to help Floridians in disasters. Anything we can to get the people of the state to vote in our direction. But I think Florida is lost. I hate to say that. I do believe that Florida is lost. Irrevocably. We're going to do that. We're going to take... we will head to Pennsylvania. Talk about energy independence there in Pennsylvania. And let's use that stamina card. And with that stamina card, we can give another speech. Of course, we're going to say Donald Trump opposes energy independence. We're going to raise some money here in PA. I'd love to throw down an ad, but we are getting dangerously close to running out of money. There we go, 122K. And end the turn. And as you can see, guys, the presidential election date, it is closing in. It is definitely closing in. Now, we just got some support there in Minnesota, and it trickled into Ohio. Man, Trump is killing it right now. He is killing it. Got to try and get money wherever the hell we can. Last time we went to California, they didn't have much cash left. Yeah, look at that, man. That's rough. And of course, now we're essentially trying to chase down funds. The lack of stamina is not helping us. I might go into Virginia, of all places, and try and grab it. So once again, in Texas, a misinformation empire in Louisiana. He is playing those political cards so well. And we have had such a lack of them. It makes it difficult. So we're gonna head here to Virginia. Joe can just barely get there. But if we can at least get Virginia in our pocket, that might help. But I think this is a foregone conclusion, my friends, in Trump's favor. Let's support public school funding. Okay. To political capital. Let's play it in Virginia. What the hell? Unfortunately, we need to raise some funds, and I think that's been one of our biggest issues in this entire campaign. Not just the lack of stamina, which is devastating with Joe Biden, but the lack of funds. We just don't have enough money. It's that simple. Let's head to Michigan. Three weeks are left until election night. And as you can see, the cost of living is outpacing wages. This would be a great time to do an advertisement on that. But do we have enough time? Let's do an advertisement supporting unions here. This would have been a much better thing to do earlier in the campaign. Would have gotten quite a bit of support from unions in general. We'll go ahead and increase political capital there in Michigan. And if you haven't noticed already, some states bleed into other states. So if you have like a lot of support in a certain area, it will bleed into other parts of that area. Once again, we will try to raise funds. Hold on one second. Seek endorsement from Environmental Protection Manual. We are going to try and seek an endorsement. Of course, that would be huge, but maybe just a little too late. A little too little too late. Isn't that what they say? Gonna grab some funds there. Let's head over here and get some funds from Wisconsin as well. I know those cheeseheads have some money. Fortunately, we can't get into West Virginia for that power card. It could be something good. It could be absolutely nothing at all. Oh, just sent a Maverick into Michigan, removed all of our cards, and let's do the Build Back Better plan here in Florida. And again, I think it's too late to do anything, guys. The election is one day away. Trump is almost certain to win, but I want you guys to see how the vote breakdown happens. It's pretty cool. We're going to say that Trump opposes expanding Medicare and Medicaid. End the turn there. Let the countdown begin. The first to 270 is the winner, my friends. Now, the election speed, we can make it fast. We can make it slow. We're getting a few New Hampshire, etc., Delaware. Trump won Pennsylvania. Trump won Virginia. He's definitely going to win Florida. There's no doubt about that. But just incredible. And I really love how this game is put together. Now, I definitely want to hear your guys' comments down below as to what you think. But I think in terms of all of the political machine games, this one is the fairest in terms of the approach to a strategy game. It's not just, hey, I have a lot of political capital, I win, but every single factor, the money, the political capital, they all truly matter. Now, right here, Trump is going to grab Texas, going to grab a huge amount of votes, going to grab Louisiana for sure. But I think Trump has this one in the bag. I think only a miracle would save us now. Let's put it that way. And there we go. Once he gets to 270, that is a certain victory. I know for sure Texas has over 30 electoral votes. That is going to be a Trump victory. But it's going to go through every single one of the states to kind of show, you know, who voted for whom, etc. It's interesting that we got Arizona of all states. I thought that was a little odd. But oddities happen in elections, right? So it is what it is. There we go. 310 electoral votes for Donald Trump. And let's see how many Joe Biden gets. He'll probably get the entire West here. We'll be able to snag that. Trump did get Washington, Oregon. No, wait a minute. See how long I've been away from the states? Which one is Oregon? Which one is Washington? Alaska there. And there we go. Now, not only can we see the electoral vote wins, but we can actually see the popular vote wins with the exit polls here. So as you can see here, in terms of the popular vote, we got 80 million and Trump only got 78 million. This once again goes to show you that with American elections, it's not necessarily about the popular vote. It's about that electoral vote. That's ultimately who decides, or what decides who wins, essentially. And you can see we actually also spent more money than Trump did. But with all of those good cards he got, probably with the HQs he was building, he was able to really increase his political capital. And that's ultimately what won him this election. Tremendous stuff. I really, really enjoy this game. It's fun. If you like it, please support this channel by liking, commenting, and subscribing to it. I really would appreciate it. It helps me out big time, and I'd love to do some more videos on this game. If you have any suggestions of what you'd like to see, whether in the primary or at the presidential levels, let me know in the comments, and if you like that suggestion, like that comment, and we'll see if we can't do another video. Thanks again, guys. Take care. Have a great one.